Trump endorses his arch enemy for Speaker of the House. Coming up next on the show. Welcome to the Matt Logan Show. Stumbling over my words here to start the show out, Craig, but
so excited.
It's like this is Kevin McCarthy has called, basically has said Trump's on Putin's payroll. He said that he's part of the January 6th crap, which is interesting. But Trump then, look at this, endorses Kevin McCarthy will do a good job and maybe even a great job. Just watch. This was his, I can't call it tweet, I guess. It's a truth on Truth Social.
Yeah.
He's been reinstated by Elon Musk, but he chooses not to go on Twitter.
Which is interesting.
So, anyway, there's a lot of stuff here. Did we get that on screen? Yeah, okay, good. A lot of stuff here. Newt Gingrich, of course, has come out and said things. Lauren Boebert, because she's been against Kevin McCarthy, has said some things. But, right now at the recording of this, it has been 13 votes. He has been denied the House Speaker. Mm-hmm. And good.
It's interesting that, both sides have their issues, obviously. It's interesting that they're making such a big deal out of it because the Republicans, the GOP, isn't falling in lockstep in who the party says should be the speaker. Isn't that kind of what our democracy is about?
That's the whole idea, I thought. I thought this was interesting that Newt Gingrich said, though. The last time that this happened in 1923, it took 9 ballots, blah, blah, blah. But so here's what he also said. So people shouldn't assume this is the end of the Republican Party in any way. This is a healthy, tough, serious conversation. Couldn't agree more with that.
Absolutely.
This is the kind of stuff. See, that's the thing, like, what is it called? Mass formation psychosis or something like that?
Sounds good to me.
So basically what it means is where the mass of people go along with the same narrative and their sheep essentially being shepherded into whatever. So
do what we say.
This is exactly. And so there's also, it's called groupthink, and there's a few other terms that people use. But the technical term, I think, is mass. Anyway, I said it already. Mass psychosis, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to try to remember what I said again or what it means. Another one that's getting me fired up is this, and it's messing with my head because I think that the more I read on it, the less I get confused, quite honestly, and it's usually the other way around. The more I read on things, it usually tends to be more confusing, and so you need to dig in and learn more and more and more. Mm-hmm. At least for myself, it's like, oh, okay, that made sense, so what about this? And you dig into it. But the more I dig into this, the more I see, like he says, you can't, Newt Gingrich is the he I'm referring to, you can't have 10% of the conference dictate to 90% of the conference. Lincoln warned of this in his first inaugural in 1861. The problem with secession as a principle is once you get to secede, so does everybody else get to secede. So, in other words, I think what he's saying here is that these 20 or 21 Republicans that have essentially seceded from the party, they're not lockstep. That's what I think he means by secession. However, yes, you need X amount of votes. McCarthy's coming in, what I've seen so far, he's not coming in with concessions. He's coming in with fear. Mm-hmm. He's coming in with a heavy hand saying that, well, I'm going to do this to you. I don't think he's taking that. These people are part of the Freedom Caucus.
Yeah, I believe so.
The
term they're using.
The term, yeah. And so he's not taking them seriously, which essentially he's not taking the people, us, the voters, seriously. Some of those kind of things. Because I've read a lot of comments, and you have somebody who has slammed Trump. They become friends, slams him again. Now they're friends again. That's concerning to me.
Right, because Trump usually doesn't seem to be one to just forgive and forget.
Right.
So why is President Trump giving his approval of McCarthy?
So here's the thought.
That to me is a red flag.
Is he tired of the fight? In other words,
No.
let me put it like this.
No.
Let me put it like this. You get the FBI that comes and raids your home.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty disconcerting.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has come of it.
No.
Literally. You get your tax returns made public. You get all these things, all these attacks. Did Trump make a deal?
Right. Don't investigate me and I'll back you.
I don't know.
I mean, he wrote a book about the art of the deal.
Yes.
I can't imagine him just... I don't know what the proper term is. I can't imagine him just kind of sitting back and settling and taking any terms that aren't absolutely beneficial.
Do you realize how old he is now?
79, 80?
77, I think.
77.
I'd have to look again, but I looked at it a couple days ago.
Okay. So he's a couple days older than...
Right. Dun, dun.
Yeah.
The point is, yes, he's running for president again under the Republican ticket, so therefore he needs the Republican backing. So therefore, the establishment Republican, the rhinos that he hates, the swamp that he's talked about, is the swamp. Good, bad, or in between, he is the swamp.
Old school GOP.
Yeah. And so do we need a government that functions? For sure. I'm not saying that. I'm not like an anarchist.
Right.
But I do think that because of the way our country was established with the Constitution, it does depend on voting from the people. A lot of people have stood up and said, we don't, the way things have been run, this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't working for the people. We're not going to put up with it anymore. They're getting people like Lauren Boebert elected and reelected. Mm-hmm. Matt Gaetz of Florida, same thing. And because they're populists, essentially.
And maybe this is far-fetched, but maybe this is the start of change. I don't know.
This is how you start change for sure.
Right. And it's, some of the left have said, well, why can't the GOP get their crap together? Well, do you want everybody to be lockstep? Because a couple years ago, when it was the shoe on the other foot, the Squad and their folks did the exact same thing. We're not going to vote in, I don't know if it was when Pelosi was up for speaker, but we're not going to vote her in or whoever it was until we get what we want. And I think it was universal health care at that time.
Sure.
So this isn't exclusive to the GOP.
Remember that, yeah.
But you know what? That's how you get things done that you want. Hopefully the Freedom Caucus or whatever is doing what they're doing on behalf of what their constituents want. That's my hope anyway. Hopefully they're not doing it just for publicity, which wouldn't be a stretch.
No, and it wouldn't be a first.
No, absolutely not. 13 times through when you can't get it, maybe the GOP should find somebody else. And
but Craig McCarthy deserves it.
That's where I was going to go. And this is my issue is in organizations that I've been involved with, in positions that I hold currently and have in the past. My experience is it usually doesn't turn out good to elect or find somebody that feels they deserve or want that position of leadership.
Well, Paul Ryan got the leadership position, back a bit, and because McCarthy couldn't get voted in.
Right.
So this isn't the first time he's been rejected.
Right. But if you want it that bad, why?
Exactly.
Why do you want that power? Where there's other people that have been nominated that don't want it. Well, that's who I want in there.
Yeah.
But, from my understanding, they don't want the nomination. Which is a
little cliche, Craig.
It is. Yeah.
But I don't disagree with it. Yeah. But let me say this. This is how concerning this is to me. Kevin McCarthy said that Trump needed to accept his share of responsibility, and he also said, quote, "The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding. These facts require immediate action by President Trump."
How are you supposed to control? I haven't seen a videotape to prove otherwise, but this whole big insurrection, were they looking at their phones while they were taking over the U.S. Capitol? Were they waiting for their president Trump to say stop?
I looked at a few things. I know, I agree. I looked at a few things, and a whole bunch of people, charges have been dropped on this January 6th thing because there's video of the police officers opening the gates and waving people to come in. Right? And so I'm not saying that what some of the people did on January 6th is good. Some of them was not good. That's
Agreed.
Not cool. I think that there was a whole lot of innocent people. I think there's a lot of questions that Ray Epps needs to answer, and he has not even been mentioned on the January 6th committee when there's videos after video after video of him. Mm-hmm. That's garbage to me. Some of these things that are clearly one-sided, and they want to just pin everything on Trump as best they can, at least. But the thing that gets me here is that when someone, you can't, it seems to me the big part of this is that you can't really trust McCarthy.
He's got too much baggage.
Yeah.
I think
the Democrats want him desperately.
That right there is a reason not to elect him.
Yeah,
right there.
They desperately want him as leader.
Mm-hmm. The GOP needs to do better.
So, from a truck driver, I've talked about it a little bit before.
Yep.
There's more of us.
Mm-hmm.
People like me. And I want to encourage people that I'm in a position right now that I'll go do whatever I need to do to make ends meet, right? Like, that's my attitude. I think it pretty much has kind of been that way my whole life. Anything legal.
Yeah.
Let's clarify that.
Okay.
A little smirk
we could go down
a little smirk on your face over there, Craig.
Yeah.
Legal. I'm sure somebody will take this out of context.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this is what the establishment hates, is people sitting here talking about this publicly, forming an opinion based off of what they've learned from other people and other sources and other
viewpoints.
Yes, perspectives, all of it. And so when you have these establishment elitists thinking that, well, I mean, it seemed, actually, you know what? It seemed to me, I think I took some screenshots of this. It seemed to me that they needed to, McCarthy should be making concessions. If these people are coming to him and saying, like, look, we want this, we're looking at this is good for people, blah, blah, blah. So let me start it with this. Lauren Boebert said that this started in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to handle this privately and have a solution before January 3rd. These negotiations began in the summer and they were dismissed because Kevin McCarthy thought he was going to have this massive red wave and our votes did not matter.
Which is a horrible attitude. It's
a very horrible attitude. So good for them for holding out, if you ask me. But here are some of the things that they say. I took a screenshot on my phone. More House Freedom Caucus members on the House Rules Committee, 2 seats they asked for. Pledges to hold votes on lawmaker term limit and border security bills. McCarthy's completely
very
against,
important.
Very important. He's completely against term limits.
Shocker.
Major changes to the appropriations process to prevent another omnibus bill by allowing floor amendments to be offered by any lawmaker. And they go on and on. They had a list of, like, here are some things that we think these are things that we've presented to our constituents and that they think are necessary. And so that, to me, is some of the big reasons, after reading what I could and looking into this, is they've been working on it for a while.
They've been trying.
This isn't a new thing.
Yeah, this just didn't come up.
He laughed him off.
He's been serving since 2007, so 16 years.
Yeah.
That, I think, puts him in the rhino pigeonhole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So anyway, I don't know. I think that there's more to this than we'll ever really probably know. And I think that...
this may be part of the problem. Is he's from California.
I wasn't going to go there, but I agree.
Not to judge people from California, but...
I've been to California a time or two, or 10 or 20 or 50. And, of course, I talk to people there as well. And if you're a Republican in California, basically you're a Democrat from the 60s.
Well, or you don't live in one of the big cities. Because I think...
True. There are some... But my point being is that, yes, there are some conservative people there, but Republican by nature in California does not mean that you're conservative in any way.
Right.
It means that Overton window is just shifted from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're... Yeah.
I say that as kind of a joke, but kind of not, too.
Yeah.
It's just another red flag of... Yeah. My opinion. Not that people from California are bad.
No.
But I think
they live there.
I think they're unfairly represented.
They live there for the scenery
and the weather.
Yeah. I don't know who to trust, so I trust in God. The rest of it I'll research. See you next time.